What if I told you that mainstream parenting, sleep training, early independence, forced obedience was never designed to raise an intuitive child? In fact, it was designed to disconnect your child from their truth. So I have been in this world for close to 10 years now, and I've had my daughter for about two. She actually just turned 2 the other day. And here are some of the things that I want to share with you about your child's intuition, because this is one of the things that is going to allow them to be sovereign. Having a strong intuition, that clear inner knowing, is so important when you are raising a child to be confident, to trust themselves, to love themselves, and to be able to navigate this matrix with ease, grace, and flow. So if this is your first time here, hi, I'm Emily. I'm a theta healing practitioner, instructor, and I'm a mama to a little light worker. And I support you on raising sovereign and intuitive children with ease, grace, and flow, and with unwavering confidence. So if you're new to this spiritual world, let me just break down what your intuition is. Because your children come into this world highly intuitive, so much more intuitive than a lot of us give our kids credit for. Their intuition is that inner knowing, it's that gut feeling, it's their inner navigation system. It is one of the things that as adults, we are doing our best to begin to awaken. There are so many courses out there that are now promoting open up your third eye and activate your intuitive knowing, because most of us have been shut down from this gift. But here is where you, as a sovereign mom, raising a sovereign kid, knowing this is going to change everything for your child, because their intuition is going to guide them outside of the matrix. Having a strong intuition is going to allow them to develop the aligned chakras that is going to keep them healthy, that is going to see that they are infinite beings, that abundance is their birthright. They're going to be able to let go of any people-pleasing tendencies. They won't even develop many people-pleasing tendencies. And this is going to allow their intuitive gifts to shine. And this is what we want. This is what this new earth needs. We need kids who know that they can see spirits and they're supported. Kids who know how to move and manipulate energy, how to heal themselves without anything else but their beliefs and their own energy. And this is what is possible for your kids. However, let's talk about how mainstream will disconnect your child. Because when you think about it in the zoomed out perspective, the matrix doesn't want to raise intuitive kids. Why would it want to raise intuitive kids? Because when we have highly sensitive, intuitive children who can read and manipulate energy, there is no area for control. There is no area for suggestibility. There are strong, confident, grounded beings who can see past the bullshit, past the veil of illusion, and the matrix loses its power. It loses the fear that it has instilled in so many of us. And so a lot of mainstream parenting advice is actually coming from this greater agenda to disconnect kids from their truth, to disconnect moms from their truth. So let's start off with one of them, sleep training. I know all the sleep training experts out there are probably going to hate me for this, but any form of sleep training is going to disconnect your child from their intuition. Because just think about it. Think about just the sleep industry for children. How much money is made off of bassinets, of weighted sleepers, of toys that sound like the mother's heartbeat? What is all of this telling you? The child needs their mother. All of these different tools and products are created to mimic the mother. And so when the child is separated, they're forced to grow up early. They're forced to shut down what their needs are. And that in itself is shutting down their intuition. Because if a child doesn't feel safe in their most vulnerable space, how are they going to feel safe in trusting themselves, in trusting others, in trusting that the universe has their back? And when they can't do any of that, their intuition is dimmed down. Punishment and reward system. I've seen this so many times. I've seen the bribes. I've seen the, let's just go here and I'll give you this, Tommy, or don't touch that and you get a cookie. Now, what is this doing? This is shutting down your child's intuition because it's taking them away from what feels good for me to what does this person need of me in order for me to receive what I need? What is this person asking of me in order for me to receive love, attention, affection, being seen, being heard? And so they end up shutting down that intuitive feeling of what they need and turn to how can I help someone else? And this starts to activate that people pleasing energy. And how many of us in this planet, I know for myself included, this is one of the things that I had to reprogram in order to make sure I was raising a sovereign daughter who had strong boundaries. We struggle with people pleasing because we were never taught these important facts. We were never taught this truth that what we were told is actually disconnecting us from our intuition. Another area of this is suppressing your kids' emotions. Now, I know this isn't done maliciously. Most of the time, it's done so subtly that we don't even realize that we're actually suppressing our kids. But when our child is crying and we say, shh, you're okay, what that actually is doing is teaching your child that even if they're not okay, I have to stop crying. Maybe my mom knows what's better than what I do. So instead, it's on changing how you interact with when your child has big emotions, when they are navigating something and maybe you don't understand it. Maybe they're too young to fully tell you, hey, I'm not okay. But it's in beginning to change your language for them because suppressing their emotions is suppressing their intuition. Another one is on forcing kids to be independent before they're ready. And I remember seeing a child on a big slide at the park when I was taking my daughter there. And she was scared. This little girl, little boy, little girl, I don't remember. They were scared. They were scared to go down this big slide. And she asked her mom to catch her. And the dad was there and he said, no, she's good. She's got to figure it out on her own. Like, she can do it. And he pretty much forced the daughter to go down the slide because she'd done it before. And he wanted to show her that she could be independent, that she was strong. Now, I get the energy behind it. We want to raise these strong, resilient children. But we're missing the part that they need to be dependent on us and know they can rely on us when they do need support in order for them to build the confidence to be resilient. But this is not taught. We are taught we want to raise independent, confident beings. And we forget about the energy that needs to be done beforehand in order to create the environment for confidence and grounding and independence to be possible. Now, if you have done any of these things, I just want to say it's not your fault. It's not your fault because most of the time this is passed on through generations. The parenting world just spews this out. But I'm here to tell you that repair can be done. Repair can be done for you to let go of any guilt that you may be holding on, oh my God, I just messed up my child. And repair can be done for your child. And the most important spot to repair this is actually the root chakra. Because the root chakra is what's going to govern their level of safety in every area of their life, and especially their intuition. And I dive deeper into the connection between the root chakra and intuition in my latest podcast episode. So I'll add that in the link below. You can check that out in the new Sovereign Rising podcast. However, just to give you a little snippet right now, if you knew the importance of those first 7 years in creating a strong foundation for the root chakra, you wouldn't have anything to worry about. You wouldn't have anything to worry about because you would know the tools and the practices and the energetic work that can be done to ensure your child feels so safe in their body, in this world, and in their intuition. Because when they get to a certain age in those first 7 years, it's around 5 or 6, that's when their intuition is usually shut off. Okay? And I explain this more inside of that episode. So the 2 chakras that are mostly affected by you following mainstream parenting, by you doing all of these things that are shutting and dimming down your child's intuition, is the root chakra and the sacral chakra. But you can begin to do the work on clearing any and all trauma, clearing any and all somatic imprints, reprogramming any beliefs that they instilled, like I have to listen to others or other people's needs are more important than mine, or I can't trust my intuition, any of those beliefs. And if you're curious if your kid has them, muscle test yourself, because chances are you're passing it on to them through your DNA. So what you can begin to do, I'm going to give you one thing that you can do. I want you to begin to change how you trust your intuition. I know. We all want to go to how can we fix our kid? But it starts with you. Because if you don't trust your intuition, chances are you're going to be speaking, acting, and believing certain things and acting in certain ways that are teaching your children that that isn't safe. And in order to help support that root chakra development in those first 7 years and to create that safety for them, you have to make sure that you feel safe in trusting your intuition. And I dive deeper into how to do this, the tools to repair if there was any damage, such as sleep training, in order to help support your kid in those first 7 years to create their strong foundations so they feel safe in every area of their life in these sovereign child foundations. I'll add a link below to join that as well. And this is going to be so powerful for you to begin to do more of this deep work, where you will test yourself for certain beliefs that if you are holding them, chances are you're passing them on to your kids and it's going to affect their root chakra. How to do the reprogramming and the repair work, how to shift how you say certain things to them so you're not suppressing their emotions, but instead allowing them to feel safe in expressing themselves, and so much more. This is, I believe there's 6 core modules in this course, and it's really going to help lay the foundation for you so you can know how to navigate your child when they begin to express their intuition. You know how to support them in those first 7 years so that after those 7 years, they remain sovereign. And that's the goal here. We want to keep them sovereign after those 7 years, after they come out of that beautiful brainwave state where they're just absorbing everything about the world. And you're going to learn that in Sovereign Child Foundations. So, with all that being said, no, it's not your fault. If it happened, it happened. If your child's in those first 7 years, you can do the repair work so easily. And I teach you a technique of how to do that inside that course. I love you. I see you. I honor you. I thank you for being on this journey with me, to doing the inner work, to raising sovereign kids. And I love you.